Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. Ashley asked for a week to herself on a Thursday night. I had just gotten home from work and was eating leftovers at the kitchen counter while a basketball game played quietly in the living room. Ashley walked in carrying her laptop bag and stopped for a second when she saw me eating. That pause told me something already. "You ate without me?" she asked. "You said you'd be late." "Right." She set her keys down carefully, almost too carefully, then grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge. She didn't drink it, just held it. I watched her for a moment. "You all right?" She leaned against the counter. "I've been thinking about something." That sentence never leads anywhere good. "Okay," I said. "Go ahead." Ashley took a breath. "I think I need a little space." I stayed quiet. "Not forever," she added quickly. "Just maybe a week, to clear my head and reset. A week away from your husband. You're making it sound worse than it is." "No," I said calmly. "I'm making it sound accurate." She looked annoyed immediately. "Why do you always do that?" "Do what?" "Turn everything into a confrontation." I pushed the food container aside. "Ashley, people in happy marriages don't suddenly need breaks from each other. It's not about us." "Then what's it about?" She hesitated too long. "Work's been stressful," she finally said. "Life feels repetitive lately. I don't even know who I am outside this marriage anymore." The words sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced them in the car before walking inside. "So, what's the plan?" I asked. "You disappear for a week and come back magically fixed?" "You're twisting this." "No, I'm simplifying it." She crossed her arms. "Mia said taking space can actually help couples." There it was. Somebody had been feeding her ideas. I stood up slowly from the stool. "You already planned this before talking to me. That's not fair." "It is when your bags are mentally packed before the conversation starts." Her expression tightened. "I thought you'd at least try to understand." "I understand perfectly." I looked directly at her. "You want to step away from your marriage and see how it feels." "That's not true." "Then explain it better." She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. That silence answered more than words could. I nodded once. "All right. If you need space that badly, take it." Her shoulders relaxed for half a second until I added, "You can have all the space you want permanently." The color drained from her face. "Liam, stop being dramatic." I walked past her toward the stairs. "Where are you going?" she asked sharply. "To get your suitcase." That was the moment panic finally hit her voice. I didn't rush. I went upstairs at a steady pace, opened the closet, and pulled out her suitcase like I'd done it 100 times before packing for a normal trip. Behind me, I heard her footsteps on the stairs. Faster now. "Liam, seriously, stop. You're blowing this out of proportion," she said. I didn't turn around. "You asked for a week away from me. I'm respecting that." "It wasn't like that." "That's exactly how it sounded." I dragged the suitcase into the bedroom. Ashley stood in the doorway now, arms tight across her chest, watching me like she didn't recognize the situation anymore. That was the shift. She expected resistance, negotiation, maybe even guilt. Instead, she got action. I opened her dresser drawer and started folding clothes. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Helping you pack." "You're acting like I'm leaving for good." I looked up briefly. "You're the one who asked for distance. I'm just making it simple." She moved closer. "This is not what I meant, Liam." "Then explain it again, clearly." She hesitated. That hesitation again. I kept folding. "I'm just overwhelmed," she said softer now. "Work. Everything. I need a little time to think." "About what?" "About me. About life." "About us?" I asked. She didn't answer fast enough. That told me everything I needed. I continued packing. "You're not even going to fight for me?" she asked suddenly. I stopped folding for a second. "Fight for what exactly? A wife who wants a break from her marriage? That's not fair." "What's not fair is asking your husband to sit on standby while you figure out if you still want him." Her eyes tightened. "You're making it sound like I'm doing something wrong." "I'm making it sound like what it is." She stepped closer to the bed. "You're not listening to me." "I am," I said. "You want space. I'm giving it to you." Her voice rose slightly. "I didn't mean I was leaving you." I zipped one section of the suitcase shut. "That's not what you said." Silence hit the room again. I pulled out a sweater of hers and held it up. "Should I pack this?" "Stop," she said, frustrated now. "You're being cold." "No," I answered. "I'm being clear." She sat down on the edge of the bed, watching me like she was trying to regain control of the conversation. This was the part she didn't expect. "I just feel like I've lost myself lately," she said. "I need time to figure things out." "Then figure it out," I said. "With you giving me attitude the whole time?" I looked at her. "You wanted independence. That's what this is." Her eyes flickered, because now she realized something important. I wasn't panicking. I wasn't chasing. I wasn't asking her to stay. And that scared her more than any argument could. She stood up slowly. "I didn't think you'd react like this." "I'm reacting exactly how you trained me to," I said calmly. That line hit harder than anything else. Her voice softened again. "Liam, I just need a week. That's all." I closed the suitcase. "Then take it," I said. "But don't come back expecting things to be the same." For the first time, she didn't have a reply ready. And that silence told me everything I needed to know. Because whatever she planned next wasn't ready for a husband who had stopped begging. Ashley left the house that night and stayed with Mia. I didn't stop her. No drama, no last-minute speech, just the front door closing and the sound of her suitcase rolling down the driveway. The house went quiet in a way that felt unfamiliar, but not empty. I sat on the couch for a while, going over everything she said. Not emotionally, just line by line. After a few minutes, I noticed her tablet sitting on the coffee table. She had forgotten it. I should have left it there. But I didn't. I opened it. It didn't take long to find what I already suspected. Messages with a man named Michael. Work contact. At first, it looked harmless. Office talk, projects, meetings. Then it changed. Late-night conversations, personal complaints, emotional closeness. About me, about feeling stuck, about needing something different. Then his replies became more direct. "You deserve clarity. If you need space, I'm here." Then Ashley's message. "I think I'm going to take that week." Michael replied, "My place is open if you need time." I stopped scrolling. That was the truth behind the week. It wasn't healing. It was testing a backup life. I took screenshots without changing my expression. No anger, no shock, just confirmation. Then my phone lit up. "Ashley, I made a mistake. Can we talk?" Then, "I miss you already." Then another, "I don't want space anymore." I didn't respond, because now I understood the pattern. She didn't want clarity. She wanted control over both options until one proved better. At 11:30, Mia called. "She's upset," Mia said carefully. "She says you kicked her out." I stayed calm. "Did she mention Michael?" A pause. "Who?" I opened one screenshot and sent it. There was silence on the line. Then Mia said quietly, "Oh my God. She told you we were having problems?" I asked. "Yes." "She said you were distant." I nodded, even though she couldn't see it. "We weren't having problems. She was building them." Mia didn't respond right away. That silence told me she understood. Or at least she was starting to. "I didn't know," she finally said. "You do now," I replied. And I ended the call. No emotion, just clarity. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't reacting to the situation. I was watching it unfold exactly as it already had. The next morning, my phone started buzzing before I even got out of bed. Ashley, missed call, then another, then messages stacking one after another. I shouldn't have left like that. I think I panicked. "I want to come home." I read them without replying. Not because I was trying to punish her, because I already understood what she was doing. By noon, Mia called again. "She's saying she made a mistake," Mia said. "She wants to fix things." "Fix what exactly?" I asked. She didn't say clearly. That was the problem. Nothing was clear when it came from her. Everything was emotional damage control after consequences showed up. That evening, Ashley showed up at the house. I saw her car sit outside for almost 10 minutes before she got out. When she finally walked up to the door, she looked tired. Not broken, not yet, just exposed. I opened the door but didn't move aside. "We need to talk," she said. "No." She blinked. "What do you mean, no?" "We already had the talk." "I didn't mean it like this." "You didn't mean it, but you still said it." Her jaw tightened. "I needed space, that's all." "You needed space from me. That's different." She stepped closer. "It wasn't about leaving you." "Then why did Michael already offer his place?" Her expression shifted immediately. "It's not what you think." "It usually isn't, until it is." She stepped inside anyway. I didn't stop her. "You're making this sound worse than it is," she said. Then explain it better. She exhaled. I just needed someone to talk to. That's what husbands are for. I couldn't talk to you, she snapped. Silence followed. How long? I asked. She didn't answer immediately. That was enough. I walked to the counter, poured water. Because this doesn't start with a week. Nothing happened, she said. That's not the point anymore. So, what is the point? I looked at her. Her phone buzzed. She flipped it over quickly. Michael. It's just work, she said. Work doesn't look like that. That was the last excuse. You don't trust me, she said. I don't rebuild trust while lines are being crossed. Her jaw tightened. Nothing physical happened. That's not the line you broke. She frowned. Then what line did I break? I looked at her. The one where your husband becomes an option while you test someone else. That stopped her. No more arguments followed. Ashley sat down for a moment, staring at the floor like it might give her a different version of the conversation. I don't know what to do. That part is simple, I said. Stop managing outcomes. Deal with what you did. So, you're done with me? I shook my head once. No, I'm done with uncertainty. She swallowed. I needed space, and I gave it. Now you have it. Silence held. I didn't cheat, she said later. That's not what this is about anymore. Then what is it? You built a separate emotional life and called it confusion. I didn't mean to hurt you. I believe that. But intent doesn't cancel impact. She stood up slowly. So what now? You don't come in and out of this marriage based on feelings. Her voice rose. I came back. No, I cut in. You came back when it stopped working outside. Silence hit again. She stepped closer. I choose you. After you tested something else. Her voice broke. What do you want from me? Consistency, not reaction. I can fix this. You can't fix trust after testing an exit. That stopped her completely. So it's over? It's been over longer than you're willing to admit. Her voice cracked slightly. I don't know where I go from here. That part isn't mine to figure out anymore. Silence. I love you, she said. I don't doubt that. I just don't trust it. So that's it? 4 years and you're just done? I looked at her. No, 4 years and I'm just clear. Her phone buzzed again. Michael. She turned it off. I don't want to lose you, she said. I opened the door. I know, but that doesn't change what happened. She stepped out. No more words. I closed the door behind her. The house felt different after she left. Not empty, just finished. I walked back into the kitchen, poured myself a drink, and sat down at the table she had just left. No footsteps, no phone buzzing, no last-minute return. Just quiet. For the first time in months, nothing in the room felt unsettled. The next few days were simple. Routine replaced chaos. Work, gym, sleep. No conversations that needed decoding. No guessing games. No reading between lines. I stopped waiting for anything to shift back. So I went to a lawyer and started the divorce process. No drama around it. Just paperwork, signatures, and clear steps forward. Then the messages stopped completely. Not gradually, just gone. A clean break after weeks of noise. Mia called once more after that. She's staying with me for now, she said carefully. She's not okay, Liam. I know, I replied. She keeps saying she didn't think you'd actually end it. I didn't end anything, I said. I just stopped holding it together alone. Mia didn't argue. Neither of us needed to. Weeks passed, then months. The paperwork kept moving in the background. Quiet, procedural, unavoidable. Ashley didn't fight it. Maybe she realized there was nothing left to argue against. Or maybe she finally accepted what I had already accepted the night she asked for a week. That some doors don't reopen the same way twice. The divorce moved quietly after that. No courtroom fights, no public pressure, just filings, signatures, and lawyers handling what we no longer could. It was finalized before winter ended. The house stayed with me. She took a settlement that didn't turn into a negotiation war, just what was agreed through counsel. Enough to restart, nothing more than what the situation allowed. She moved into a small apartment across town, 1 bedroom, temporary furniture, a life reset instead of a continuation. Mia told me Ashley had picked up a second part-time job to keep things steady. Not thriving, not collapsing either, just moving. Michael stopped appearing in the picture around the same time the paperwork became final. No explanation reached me directly. He just faded out of the situation the same way he had entered it, without clarity at the end. I didn't ask for details. What I already understood didn't need confirmation anymore. Mia called me again sometime after that. She said Ashley had told her everything. There had been something between her and Michael, and that it had gone further than she had ever admitted before things fell apart. I didn't need to argue with it or break it down. Even hearing it didn't change the decision I had already made. It just confirmed what I had been seeing long before it was ever spoken out loud. That week she had asked for was never just space. It was a trial in disguise, a way to step outside the marriage while keeping one foot inside it, to see what life felt like on the other side before making it final. After that, things settled down, quietly, without anything pulling me back into it. Eventually, I started seeing someone again, slowly, on my terms. No overlap with the past, no urgency to replace anything that was gone. Just meeting people, talking, letting things develop without forcing direction. For the first time, I wasn't reacting to anything anymore. One evening, months later, I ran into Ashley briefly outside a store. It wasn't planned. She looked different, quieter, smaller in energy, not broken, just recalibrated. We stood there for a moment, unsure of the rules now. "Hey," she said. "Hey," I replied. Silence followed. Then she asked, "Are you okay?" I nodded. "Yeah." A pause. "You look like you're doing better," she added. "I am." She looked down for a second, then back up. I thought I had more control over how things would go. I didn't respond immediately. Then I said, "Most people do, until they don't." That was all. No blame, no anger, just truth. She nodded slowly like she understood that now. Then she stepped back slightly. "Take care of yourself, Liam." "You too," I said. And then we went in opposite directions. No turning back. Later that night, I sat at home and thought about that first evening again. Her asking for a week, my reaction, the suitcase, the silence that followed. What I realized was simple. That moment in the kitchen wasn't the beginning of the end. It was just the moment the truth finally stopped hiding. I poured myself a drink, sat back in my chair, and let the silence stay. This time, it didn't feel heavy. It felt earned. Thank you for watching.